Look, if people repeat 2016 again, we're going to be waking up in 2028 asking ourselves, how could we let this happen again? And as for the Republicans, they're not asleep right now. They're preparing. They're preparing to continue this fascist bullshit that was all throughout Project 2025 that Democrats told people about time and time again, and they didn't see fit to elect Kamala Harris over Donald Trump. So if you care about stopping them, if you care about the early voting in Texas, if you care about what 2028 is shaping up to be, and if you care about whether Democrats learned anything from 2016, then stay with me because this matters. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I feel like I'm screaming into the void. Like people don't see history repeating itself in real time. And I'm not about to sit back and watch and let it happen. Not again. Never again. This is Pragmotiv News, and I'm Kameron. Early voting is underway in the Texas Democratic Senate primary, and already there's noise, confusion, and administrative hurdles set by the Texas state government. You know, the MAGA bitches. And because of those hurdles, you see stories like Pamela McRae's here, a voter who had to push through so many obstacles just to cast her ballot.
Okay, y'all, they already starting with the BS in Texas. I'm down here to vote. I came the first day of early voting, which is today. They're telling me I'm not registered. I'm sorry, ma'am, I just voted in the presidential election. I've voted in every election since I've been here. And now I'm magically not registered. You said we needed a passport to vote. No problem, ma'am. Now you said I can't use this because it's not pulling anything up. My name isn't in here, this, that, and the third. I need to go and get my driver's license. Okay, I'm going to walk back to the car and get my license, but I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to leave here without voting. Listen, baby, tighten up and get it right. Call who you need to call, do what you need to do. Because today, I'm voting, boo-boo. This day, I shall vote. This day shall not end without me voting. You understand me? Because I'm following the rules, I'm following the regulations, I'm doing what you said I need to do, the whole 9 yards. So at the close of this day, I'm going to have that little on my chest. Say it with your chest. Because I'm voting today.
Why in the fresh hell are they telling this lady that you need a passport in order to vote? That is some straight bullshit. You don't need no motherfucking passport in order to vote. What kind of fucking shit is this? Nobody who doesn't leave the country has a passport. I have never left this country, which means I don't have a passport. And I'm not about to go spend $200 motherfucking dollars in order to vote. That is some bullshit. You don't, for public service announcement. You don't need no passport in order to vote. All you need to have is your valid identification. You need to have, just to be safe, a ID or driver's license with that little star up at the top. That star, I don't know what color, I don't know how to describe that color. I'm colorblind. I don't know how to describe that color, but it has to have a star up at the top. That is what's called a real ID that allows you to travel anywhere in this country. You can't get on the plane unless you have that. And in order to get that, you have to present documents. You have to present your birth certificate and proof of residency. And when you go and get this real ID, you can register to vote right there at the DMV, or in Louisiana's case, the OMV. You can do that. So it is completely and utterly ridiculous that they are telling this lady that she needs to have a passport. Texas, I see through your bullshit. And this is why vigilance matters. Because if voting didn't matter, Republicans wouldn't be fighting this hard to take it away. And because of this disenfranchisement of voters, it feeds into the narrative that your vote doesn't matter. That's why Texas isn't blue right now. Not because we didn't run a safe enough candidate, but because we didn't reach people and tell them their vote matters. So let's be real. That's what we need to focus on. Not reaching out to Republicans, not trying to run safe candidates so that Republicans will cross over, because that has proven time and time again that it doesn't work. We've tried to court Republicans multiple times in the past, and it has done nothing but bite us in the ass. We don't need to do that. What we need to focus on is expanding the electorate, turning out voters who feel disenfranchised by registering voters who have never voted and re-registering purged voters and motivating them to get off the couch and turn out. And the way we motivate them is through policy, not the Republicans are bad, because that's not enough anymore. We tried that in 24 when the stakes really could not have been higher. I mean, just look at what's happened since then. We've tried it. It didn't work. So now we have to run on policy, which is popular. Our policies are popular, but people don't know our policies. So we have to get it out in front of people if we hope to win. And that's with any candidate. And the other thing, while I got y'all, the other thing that we need to do is stop tearing each other down because we don't fully agree. We need to turn out and vote for whoever wins the nomination in every race across this country, including the presidential race in 2028. That is paramount. So if Gavin Newsom wins, I will vote for him. If Kamala Harris wins, I will vote for her. If somebody that we don't even know wins, I will vote for them. Because we have something that we didn't have in 24. We have something that we had in 2020. In 2020, we could have ran a ham sandwich against Donald Trump and kicked his ass up and down the country. So right now, we kind of have that again because the country is so fucked up. So now we can run basically anybody and win. Should we be that cocky? Hell no. We need to vote no matter what the polls say. But we also need to be unified behind whoever the nominee is. So if you don't want Kamala Harris to run again, if you don't want to vote for Kamala Harris, you're going to have to. Otherwise, it's more of this. It's more of Donald Trump and his acolytes. And I don't think that's something that any of us want. Because we've seen what happens when participation is fractured over who won and who didn't. The 2016 Democratic primary, Hillary Clinton versus Bernie Sanders. Hillary represented the moderate wing of the party, while Sanders represented the ultra-left progressive part of the party. So, Cliff Notes version, Clinton won, Sanders lost, and the party was fractured because of it. It fractured because the progressives were pissed that Bernie Sanders lost, so they stayed home or voted third party, while claiming that voting for either Trump or Clinton was deciding between the lesser of two evils, which is asinine. Because you can't say Hillary Clinton is evil compared to Trump. Because I know a lot of shit would be fucking different if Hillary Clinton was president of the United States. And just like a lot of shit would be different if Kamala Harris was president of the United States. But whatever. The point I'm making is 2016 was the beginning of this shit show we're living in right now. It was what started all of the long-term consequences that are still unfolding today. And whether you supported Sanders or Clinton in the primary, the moment Trump became the Republican nominee for president, that general election became about stakes. And it should have been met with a united Democratic Party, not mad progressives that made it easier for Trump to win. What people always forget is that primaries are about preference. It's about exploration. It's giving multiple people a chance to make their case. And if somebody wins the primary, then that means that the majority of the party that they're running to be the nominee of supports them. So I need everyone to understand that general elections are about winning. Party primaries is about exploration. General elections are about winning. That distinction matters. So fast forward to now. Recent polling covered on CNN and discussed by Kyle Kalinske on his YouTube channel, Secular Talk, suggests there may be some major buyer's remorse among voters. Hypothetical rematch polling shows big shifts in Kamala Harris's direction.
Now we have some CNN polling that just came out, and it shows that the American people are having massive buyer's remorse about Donald Trump, and they're low-key yearning for a Kamala Harris presidency. They wish Kamala Harris was currently in the White House. So we have Harry Enton breaking it down here. Let's take a look.
Choice for 2024 presidential election. The actual was Donald Trump winning by about 1.5 points. It rounds to a point. But take a look here. In a polled redo between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris in April of 2025, it was within the margin of error, right? Kamala Harris by a point. But look at where we are now, according to an NBC News Survey Monkey poll. Kamala Harris wins in a redo, asking folks, essentially, if you could redo the 2024 election, how would you vote? She wins it by, get this, 8 points, a massive shift from what we saw back in November of 2024 when Donald Trump won by a point. And I will note that this sample was weighted to the 2024 result in which Donald Trump won by a point, but yet Kamala Harris in this weighted sample, get this, she wins by 8 amongst a sample that voted for Trump by 1.
So now, meanwhile, let me break that down a little further for you. That means they are massively, massively underestimating what the actual number is right now. They're weighting it to assume the poll is biased in a pro-Democrat direction. So they give the Republicans a couple baked in points, okay? But I would submit to you, it's the exact opposite now, where every poll that we're seeing, even the ones that have Democrats plus 16, even that is too weighted in a Republican direction. Because now you got people coming out of the woodworks in the electorate who are like, I don't even motherfucking vote, but I'm about to vote this time against the Republicans because I'm so disgusted by what this country has become. Okay, so if they have her at plus 8 and they weighted the poll, that means in reality it's probably like Kamala plus 12 in this bitch, that she would win in a goddamn landslide. Okay, we'd be talking about well over 300 electoral college votes.
If it's Kamala plus 8, we're looking at about 320 electoral votes. She will win all 7 swing states, plus the 2nd district in Maine. If it's Kamala plus 12, that's a whole new ball game. That's Bill Clinton numbers, 370 plus electoral votes. So now I'm about to get petty. Ain't that a bitch? See, we told y'all. And when I say y'all, I mean the people who didn't vote for Kamala Harris or who didn't vote at all. We fucking told y'all what would happen. Everything Kamala Harris said Trump would do, he did. Everything we said Trump would do, he did. Democrats told y'all. The left told y'all what to do, and you didn't do it. And now, plus 8 points for Kamala Harris. See, this administration should prove to people that voting Republican never works. Voting third party never works. Protest voting never works. People use the genocide in Gaza as a reason to not vote for Kamala Harris, without thinking about the fact that voting for Donald Trump would be voting for the Palestinians' end. And that war in Gaza has continued to rage on. So that brings me to 2028. Early 2028 primary polling shows Kamala Harris with a significant lead, 25 points. Now, I want to say for the record, or early polling, they're snapshots. They're not set in stone, of course, but they do show something important. Voters deeply regret not voting for Kamala Harris. And if a candidate enters a primary with such consolidated support, because that is consolidated support, if she is looking like she will win the general election, that changes the strategy. At least it should. It should change the strategy, because if she does better in the general election than everyone else in the field, then I'd say nominating anyone else other than her, knowing those odds, nominating anyone else would be stupid. Which means we on the left need to agree right now that we will support and fight for whoever is the nominee. Whoever the nominee ends up being needs to have the full support. Even if you don't like Kamala Harris for whatever reason, you need to show up for her. Gavin Newsom in some hot water. That's a topic for another video, so I'm not really going to get into that, but he's in hot water. But if he is the nominee, I'm fucking voting for him. Because at that point, it stops being only about policy and it becomes about the stakes again. How bad do you not want J.D. Vance to be president? How bad do you not want another Republican? For me, it's pretty damn bad. I don't want another one of them bitches in the White House, which means I'm going to vote for whoever is the nominee. Because here's the thing. It's not going to happen for any candidate without unity. Unity isn't about loving every policy line. It's about understanding math. If Kamala Harris has the best chances at winning the general election, it would be stupid to nominate someone else just because she doesn't do everything you want her to. You can support one candidate in the primary. You can advocate. You can organize. You can debate. But once voters decide, fragmentation carries risk. So if she does win the primary, everyone needs to support her in the general election. Now, across the country in red states, voting laws continue to change to benefit Republicans. Proof of citizenship, birth certificate, passport, ID, voter roll purges, all designed to make it easy to deny legal citizens their right to vote under the guise of stopping illegals from voting when they have literally never voted. Now they're doing it at a federal level. At least they're trying to, with legislation like the SAVE Act. Why does this matter? Because Republicans are trying to steal elections by taking your vote away. Which brings me back to Pamela.
Y'all see this sticker, right? So you know what it means. Okay, so full transparency. There were some really nice people in the office, but also I think that this election, because the rules have changed, they are making it a little more difficult for us to do what we do, like we're doing it for TV. No, seriously. And I know I joke a lot, but in all seriousness, make sure that everything you need is together. Some of them are going to ask you for a passport. Some of them are going to ask for your driver's license. Some are going to ask for your birth certificate, which is crazy, and your driver's license. I ended up, God, that's a lot of noise. I ended up doing a provisional ballot. I pray that it gets counted. I put it in the envelope myself. The election workers sealed it. So I know I cast my ballot. And that is what's important. This election is paramount to our future, to the future of our children, to the future of our democracy. And we need to get out and vote like our life depends on it, because it literally does. And it may take some time. They may give you the runaround. They may ask you for this or send you back for that or just whatever. Cooperate. Cooperate. Be nice. Even when you lose your cool, be nice. Don't lose it. End up with one of these. This is your end result. You just want to do this. That's all you want. So, get out there, rock the vote, and let's rock it for Crockett. Let's do it until we can't do it anymore. You understand me? If you need to give somebody a ride, give them a ride. If you know somebody who, I'm not going, ask them why. I hate it when people tell me their vote doesn't count. If it's not important or if it doesn't count, why do they try and take it from you? I don't want anything that doesn't count or anything that is not valuable. The only way they want it is because it has value. Please.
Turn left onto South
Vote.
Main Street. Then take the first left
Vote.
onto Interstate 20 West.
Y'all, why the hell
see this
Siri
sticker,
always
right?
popping up at the wrong damn time? So I want everybody to have energy like Miss Pamela here. She didn't quit. She didn't say, well, this is too hard. She handled her paperwork. Even though I still say it's like nasty work that they asked her for a passport. That's some crazy shit. You don't need one. I don't know why they asked her for that. But she persisted and she voted. That's the energy we all need. Not chaos, not apathy. Persistence. Strategy. Participation. Look, history doesn't repeat because people are stupid. It repeats because people underestimate the stakes. If you care about winning the House and the Senate, if you care about winning the White House, if you care about winning against fascism, and if you care about fighting for progressive policies, then be vigilant, be persistent. Know your state's rules, show up, and vote blue no matter who. And don't let fatigue make decisions for you. This is Pragmotiv News. I'm Kameron. See y'all next time.